My name is Wayne Gearhart. We own a small cattle farm here on the 11 Point River, Randolph County, Arkansas. My wife and I have both worked off the farm for a number of years, or we did when we first got the place back in 1995. And we both eventually retired. Now I'm a full-time cattle farmer. And as I remember it, I heard about the program that Stephen O'Neill was over, and I think I contacted Stephen about it on the very beginning.
Mr. Gearhart contacted us through the Stream Team program at that time and was needing some assistance with stream bank stabilization. He was losing a large amount of property over a fairly short period of time because the last few trees that were along a river, the 11 Point River near Pocahontas, was falling in.
We've had 4 floods here. The worst year, it washed out about 100 feet of the bank and at least 20 large trees. So I was very concerned that if we didn't do something, we were eventually going to lose quite a lot of our farm.
So we hooked him up with what was called the State Wildlife Grant. We had some special funding at that time to do habitat work, particularly targeting the Ozark hellbender and cold water crayfish that lives in the 11 Point River.
Stephen O'Neill and the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission came in and put in what is known as called veins or rock fingers out into the river and stopped my erosion problem.
On this outside bend of the river, the way that the rock veins function, they actually create different hydrologic conditions. And so as the river approaches the bank, or this curve in the river, these rock veins angle upstream at about 30 degrees. It uses the strength of the river and the power of the river to actually protect the bank, as opposed to having the strength of the river erode the bank. So it's just using the same hydrologic forces that destroyed the bank in the first place, redirecting that power to actually preserve the bank and build bank. So we actually get bank being built up on the outside bend.
It's my opinion that was 9 years ago, and we've had one huge flood since then. I'd be afraid to guess how much of this right here would be we'd be in the river right now.
Yeah, I'd say you're right with the rate of migration,
Yeah.
how quickly it was moving
Yeah.
every year. You know, we established about a 50 to 75 foot zone.
Right.
Well, 9 years later, we'd be standing
Sure.
in the middle of the river.
Well,
right
that
here.
one year that the flood was the worst, that was the year I lost 100
feet
of bank. Yeah,
So literally this bend, we could maybe even be standing on the opposite side of the river.
could be.
Because you were losing acres at that point.
I wouldn't be surprised if it hadn't took all this river bottom.
Yeah, the bottom.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
your most productive
That's
ground
right.
too.
Exactly, yeah. I like to think that we are conservationists and we try to take care of our land, and that was part of the reason that we were especially wanted to do this. But we want to continue to raise our cattle and to just do the best that we can as far as the environment is concerned, and also our land is concerned.
Working with Wayne and his wife, they've just been such a pleasure to work with. I've never, and I can probably say this without hesitation, I've never worked with a landowner that has been so willing to adapt and adopt and change for the betterment of not only their operation and for their bottom line, but also for the ecological standpoint. And just working with a family like that, and Wayne in particular, they've just been really easy to work with, very much a pro Arkansas Game and Fish Commission stance. And so it's good to have people like that out there in the community talking in the coffee shops about what we do as an agency and how we can work together with other landowners just like them.
I don't think that we as private landowners would have been able to afford to do this project all on our own. Plus, Stephen O'Neill had all the knowledge about how to put the program together and who to contact and who the contractors were and so on and so forth. I'd just like to personally thank the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, and especially Stephen O'Neill, for working with me and helping me with this project, and I think it's been very, very beneficial to us as landowners.